Today we're looking at a mini PC from Acemagic. It comes in at £189 and on paper seems like a pretty reasonable deal. Is it worth the money though? We'll find out after I pay some bills with this quick sponsor message. Looking for a laptop for the new school term? Ace's Predator Neo has you covered for all of your school and gaming needs. Powered by an Intel 13th Gen i7 processor and Nvidia RTX 4060 graphics, the Predator Neo has its performance on tap. Whether doing heavy CPU intensive schoolwork or playing your favourite games on its gorgeous 165Hz Quad HD screen, the Neo is always ready to perform. On the topic of games, you can also enjoy some of the latest and greatest games with the free month of Microsoft Game Pass included with select laptops and PCs, featuring titles such as Starfield, Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Legends and many more. Visit the link down below to learn more. So this is the S1 N95 model from Acemagic. The N95 refers to the Intel N95, which is a 12th Gen 4-core processor with a boost of 3.4 GHz. It's got 6 megabytes of level 3 cache. It's a 20-watt processor as well, so obviously I'm not going to be expecting blazingly fast performance. We'll certainly see how it all stacks out, of course, as we go. So inside the box we have two little parts. This, which is the PC itself, obviously put that to the side for the minute. I've got a little instruction manual under there as well. I'm guessing this is like a little stand for it to go on. So you can have it stood up, or you can obviously have it flat if you'd rather. Then on the left hand side, we've got obviously our power adapter. You can get it with different plugs as well, depending on what region you're in. This one is obviously an EU adapter. We'll have to make sure we can adapt that. And we've also got an HDMI cable as well. As I said, this is the N95. There's also an N97 on the website as well. I couldn't seem to actually read the specs about that, but that is drastically more expensive. It's like 3 or 4 times the price. So this is going to be the one that I think most people will be going for. We have got Intel UHD graphics built in for this, but it can support up to 2 4K monitors at 60 Hz. So even though it is, you know, a very basic video output, you can support some higher resolution, so it's not too bad. Got a couple of bits of peel to do. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but I can actually see the SSD that's below there. Storage and memory options you've got on this, you can get a 512 gigabyte or a terabyte version. I've got a terabyte here. If you get the terabyte, it also comes with Wi-Fi 6 over Wi-Fi 5, and then you get 16 gigabytes of memory no matter which one you choose. So let's now go around the unit. I've been waffling for a little bit, but I want to try and get the specs across to you guys. Orientation is a little bit hard to tell which way up this is supposed to be, but if you're having it sideways, there's a little screen here. I've got a little peel, which will give you some statistics when it's actually powered up. When it's on standby, it'll show you the time as well, so it can act as a clock when it's not in action. You can't see it at the moment, but underneath the screen there's also a little light bar that you can customize the color of. You can even turn that off as well if you don't want it on. So if you're looking at the PC like this, head on the top we've got 2 USB 2 and 2 USB 3 ports. The power button on the right hand side, and there's a little bit of ventilation there as well. Now one thing I thought of immediately is if you're going to have a lot of USB devices on, some of them might be a little bit tighter than others. It's not going to be very stable, but if you just add on the base, which is actually magnetic, it does add a little bit more stability, so I think you'll be alright. So if we rotate this around to the back of the PC, we've got a DC power in, the 2 HDMI, so like I said, up to 60 Hz 4K, 2 gigabit LAN ports on there, a 3.5mm auxiliary jack, and also a Kensington lock. Now I can actually take off one of the sides of this. There's a little part that says open on the top. This is just a magnet panel, it just comes away. There's a little window in there as well. And then we can see our RAM and then our storage. So for RAM, we have a stick of Lexar 3200 megahertz, so DDR4. And then our SSD, we have a BiWin solid state drive, 1 terabyte. Let's just actually take this out to have a look at it. Just a single-sided drive. It's quite warped actually. I'm not sure whether that was pressed down too hard or maybe that's just the drive itself. So it's nice that you can add an additional SSD in there if you'd like to. That's going to be running at Gen 3 for the storage though, because this is a 9-lane processor, the N95 like I mentioned. I'll put the block diagram on the screen so you can see all the nitty-gritty about what it can do, but as you can see on the right hand side it does say Gen 3 or 9 PCI lanes, so you will be a little bit limited for speeds that it can do, but it is a budget device after all. So it's really quite confusing to remember which way is up with this thing. There we go. So now I'm going to get this all set up. It does include Windows 11 Pro straight out of the box, so that's a nice thing to see already installed already. Just need to set it up, and then we'll see exactly what we can do with it. I'm not expecting the world, because obviously it is a budget device, but we'll see what we can do. Maybe we can do some light 1080p games, maybe like something like Valorant, for example. But we shall see just what it can do, and I'll be back to you in a minute with some results. It's a little bit of a janky setup, but I've had some time to get used to that N95 and I've got some thoughts on it. First of all, it's showing the little clock, like I said, when it's not actually powered on. So you've got that as a little standby option. Even though it's just a magnetic stand, it actually does hold up very well. I've been plugging things in and doing stuff on the desk, and it's not fallen over once. So surprisingly strong. So that's good. Now let's turn on the actual PC and show you how fast it boots up in person. So I've used a couple of SSDs with this as well. I've got one that I have all of my benchmarks and things on. Put that in, it swaps over, no problems. I'll talk about that more later on. But we are now booting into the OS that's pre-installed. You've got some pieces of software on there as well that allows you to control the screens and stuff that we'll cover as we get into it. But as you can see, what's that, 30 seconds at most, and then we're pretty much into Windows. So fairly snappy, so good points for it there already. So that took about 45 seconds and we're fully into Windows, so now I can use OBS to show you what I'm actually looking at. But yeah, very snappy for the little system. So now we're into Windows. We've also got the screen all lit up, so we've got the time date. There's also how much power the CPU is currently drawing, the temperature, minute memory load, fan speed, and also the CPU load as well. And you can also see below the little RGB bar. You can configure that, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So now we're into Windows. The first thing I did was install hardware info just to see how hot the CPU was going to get. I saw a high of 62 degrees, so really nothing to worry about. But then I thought, well, it is a low TDP 20 watt CPU, so that's why it's not going to be that hot anyway. I did test it with a thermal probe as well, and that's a high of 52 for the outside, so obviously it's internally hotter, but very cool for temperature wise. The top 5 icons are pre-installed, so we've got Recycle Bin, Chrome, Edge, and then LED control, and then the CYX TFT tool, which is the little screen that's on the front of this. So now we're into the software. We can change the color. Also, that will go between all of the different options that we've got available. Rainbow wave, quite common we see on keyboards. Breathing effect, that will just breathe in and out of all the different colors that are available. And color cycle just goes between everything. Another thing that we see on keyboards fairly commonly as well. There's also an on or off as well if you wanted to turn it off completely. But personally, I like the rainbow. So going on to resolutions and things, if you see on the screen here, this is currently set to 4K. So 3840 by 2160 is scaled to 150%. But if we go to the advanced display, you'll see we've got up to 60 Hertz, which is what I mentioned, 2 4K panels at 60 Hertz. If we drop this down to 1440p, and then we go into advanced display, you can now take that up to 120 Hertz, so you have got a high refresh rate. So now it's at 120 Hertz, a 27-inch panel at 1440p, that is the sweet spot anyway, so you can run it at a high refresh rate, which is a good thing to note. Yeah, it's not going to be beneficial for games because you can't play games on this machine. I'll talk more about that, my experience, in a minute. But it is nice to have the smoother animations for your windows and things, at least while you're just doing some work or whatever you will be doing with this machine. So nice to see that you can do that. It was one of the first things that I thought I'd try, just taking down the resolution, see if we can bump the refresh rate, and it does work, so that's a good thing to note. Also for 1080p you can do 120 Hertz. I thought you might be able to chance it and get away with 144 for a 1080p, but you are stuck at 120, but certainly better than 60 Hertz if you're not using a 4K panel. I did try some games. I did run Valorant. We got a high of 21 frames on low 1080p, so it's not a gaming system, but I thought I would give it a go just to see what happens. This is the P40 Pro from Solidigm that I put all my benchmarks and stuff on. It did run that without any problems as well. Picked it straight up, loaded straight into Windows, be it running Gen 3 speeds, but it can run an SSD that's from the system if you just want to take it out and put it in this. Can't see many people doing that because obviously that is a higher end drive, which would likely come out of a higher end system, so you're unlikely to downgrade yourself into a system like this. But should you want to clone an SSD or something, you want to use this as a secondary device, it will accept it and work without problems at all. So annoyingly, I can't seem to get the software to work that allows me to control the front of the screen, so I'll add someone else's video in the description box so you can see that, but just my luck that it doesn't work when I need it to as well. But overall, the system, I think, for $189 as an asking price is very good. If you want to obviously upgrade to the 1TB model, you do have the Wi-Fi 6 in there as well. It isn't going to be a system where you're going to be going hard and doing high performance stuff, but spreadsheets, browsing, YouTube as well, playing 4040p will be no problem at all. I could see this being very useful for grandparents or people that don't want to have a massive PC on their desks that they're only going to use maybe like once a week, or they're doing very light tasks of checking emails, doing a bit of Word documents and stuff like that. Then that could be a very good solution because obviously it doesn't take a lot of space, and a lot of people don't want a massive PC on their desk that they're not going to use that often either. So this one, being like smaller than my hand, is a perfect option. You could obviously mount this on the back of the monitor as well. You could just double-sided tape it, not the side that comes off obviously, but the other side, if you really wanted to really tuck it out the way so you can have everything on the monitor. I thought it might be lacking a little bit with USB ports and stuff, but it's been fine. Obviously, if you're going to add printers and stuff like that, then that may get a little bit more complex. You might want to add a hub at that point, but for the majority of people, I'm sure it's got enough there. They do have some higher end models as well that have like USB-C functionality and things like that, so hopefully Acemagic will want to send me one of the higher end models that we can look at. They do i5, i7s as well. Maybe we can try some gaming on one of those. Overall, really nice little mini system. I like the way you can add an additional SSD in there as well, and barely any noise from it either. So I'll add the links to this in the description box below if you want to pick one up. Big thank you to Acemagic for sending this out for me to look at. Get subscribed and ding the bell, especially so you don't miss any videos if they do send me one of the higher powered ones. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.